I think it shows Iran is not serious about negotiating. If you believe, as I do, that Iran is never going to be chatted out of its nuclear weapons, then the only recourse is to dramatically ratchet up the economic and political pressure on Iran and keep open the option of regime change or even military force. And I think there is a cost to diplomacy. Time is used by countries like Iran to perfect their nuclear weapons program. We can't allow that to go on any further.
And there's no particular reason why we ourselves have to directly talk to them.
Some tough words for Iran. The president and Tony Blair talking about the rogue nation today. And former U.S. Ambassador John Bolton says it's clear that Iran won't be talked out of its nuclear program and that the pressure against them should be, quote, massively increased, according to him, including the threat of attack.
Carter opened Pandora's box by his idiotic, stupid policies of human rights.
This region of the planet holds over half of the natural oil resources on the planet, and they say that they want to start using nuclear power.
I think being of the view that Iran is years and years away plays into Iran's hands. And they've demonstrated they're pursuing and have been for 20 years a nuclear weapons capability. That strategic intent is what we should focus on, and to stop them before they get closer.
I believe in talk too, but you know, the Europeans talked to the Iranians for more than 2 years about stopping their nuclear weapons development program, and it had zero effect. We're talking to them now, and one of the things we're talking to them about is stopping this training equipment of the people coming in and killing American soldiers. In my opinion, they have taken a belligerent act against us. They've gotten involved in the war in Iraq, and if they feel they can get away with that, they'll just keep doing it, not only in Iraq, but elsewhere throughout the Middle East and ultimately right here in the United States of America.
Well, I think there are a number of things we can do to put additional pressure on them. I wish we had more support from Europe, which has essentially taken 4 years of negotiation without applying adequate pressure, given Iran the time it needs to perfect many of the critical aspects of its nuclear weapons program. Time is really growing very short here. I don't think sanctions have much of a chance.
Well, what they actually want, does that include the freedom of those 5, what they call diplomats who have been seized in Iraq? Iranian
the so-called diplomats, exactly as you said, John. Diplomats in the Iran regime doesn't mean anything.
Sure, they'd love to talk about everything. Diplomacy is not a cost-free instrument, despite what some people say. Diplomacy takes time. Time gives Iran more time to perfect its nuclear weapons. Even if they don't want to talk about that, it gives its proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, and other terrorist groups time to do what they need to do. Sure, the Iranians would love to talk. Why not? Time is on their side.
Let's recognize that we have slow-motion diplomacy dealing with Iran right now on the nuclear issue, and we have fast-paced nuclear development. So we have a mismatch between our objective and the means we're employing.
If it's clear that they're getting close to getting the weapon, would it be your policy to support preemption as a means of taking out or wiping out those facilities, considering they've, repeatedly threatened to wipe Israel off the map?
Yes. Yes.
It would be.
Yes.
I like the guy, David. I don't know him as well, like Jim said, as the other candidates, but I get a sense I think he'd nuke Iran's nuclear capabilities in a New York second.
When I brought up the fact that Iran was going to increase the surge to try to get the Democrats in the midterm, we broke it on your show, and in fact, that's exactly what they did.
Iran is planning on ratcheting up their attacks also for 2 reasons in Iraq. First, we are coming up on an election. They want to ensure that the Democrats are going to vote out our troops out of Iraq.
I think that what's being set up here is a decisive general election issue over the idea of going to war with Iran.
Isn't it funny that John Edwards, of all of the celebrities out there are available to go on the campaign trail, Danny Glover? I mean, this is a weapon on the campaign trail. It's a lethal weapon on the campaign trail. Because, I mean, Hugo Chavez, even just this week, has been implicated in the JFK explosion plot. Remember that one of the suspects was arrested in Trinidad on his way to Caracas, where he was going to be getting a visa to go to Iran.
Senator, you said we should be very, very concerned about this, but some of the leading presidential candidates, at least to the Democratic Party, have a funny way of showing that concern. They do not echo your alarm.